Hey everyone, welcome back to Heather the Sunflower Witch. I'm Heather, and today we are going to be actually focusing on a product at my Etsy shop, and we're going to just talk about it, show how I made it, why I made it, where you can find it, because I will be showing off my Etsy shop as well. And I figured this would be kind of a fun video. Let me get a drink of water, but I figured this would be a fun video to do because then I can show off things at my shop, whether it's Etsy or whether it's my handmade shop, or not my handmade, but my eBay. This will give me a way to do that. And so I figured we're going to start with this. So this, as you can see, is like palm size. It's a sticker, and I'm going to try and like zoom this in. But it's a green ribbon with a brain, warrior, and this is for cerebral palsy. I made this a long time ago. It's 2026. I made this back in 2020, so it's been about 5 to 6 years, I would say, since I made this. And that's the size of it. It's like in a little handheld. And so one thing is, I make stickers on my shop. That's one of the things I do. And what happened was I wanted to do something that basically was something for me that I could share with others. And I thought, well, I have cerebral palsy, so why not make a sticker for it? And you're probably looking, you're like, really, cerebral palsy? And the thing is, I actually have a form that's it's minor compared to most forms of cerebral palsy. And my actual form, before, when I was a kid, I was told that I was never going to be able to walk again. I had no muscle tonnage in my legs. My legs were actually parallel to the floor. They did not have any bend into them. So I could not even bend my legs. I was basically told by multiple doctors, we don't know how you're going to be able to do this. Well, my mother was told, because I was a baby, that they don't know how this is going to happen because you can't walk. Now, for most of you who have been on this channel, you've heard me talk about marching band. You've heard me talk about playing the clarinet. You've heard me talking about writing and being a geologist and, talking about field work, which would require me to move in some degree. And so just kind of to show, I'm standing, can move around, and this was due to long amounts of therapy where I went through multiple times of therapy at a children's hospital where they did like swim therapy to try to put me in water to make my legs move in water. They've done braces, they've done a bunch of other things. And my mom has told me that for my cerebral palsy, I probably should have been in more therapy. We just couldn't afford it. But at the time, it was enough to get me to where I was actually moving with my legs and walking and, all of this other stuff. Nowadays, for me, the cerebral palsy is more of just a muscle tonnage weakness. I will naturally have weak ankles, and weak knees. That's just something multiple doctors have told me, even as an adult, that you will just have weak ankles and weak knees. And you could probably easily overdo it in the time that you have it. Which, lo and behold, was last year. I overdid it with karate and was driving back home. Was driving like from Kentucky to my home. And I actually ended up snapping a tendon in my ankle. And basically, it was at that point my doctor told me that I should take it easy and try not to do it as much because it was probably going to be easily able to snap again. As long as I did the therapy at home, then, I would be able to strengthen it back up to at least to its normal degree. I was on the scooter for about a month. It was actually the main tendon in the ankle. So, like, if you're like, the foot's like this main tendon that's in the back was the part that snapped. One of there's 3 tendons that come and make that main one. One of them went, and I actually, like, when I was driving, I felt, and that's when I was like, uh-oh. So with the cerebral palsy, naturally those are weak. And naturally, for me, that talking is something that's a little bit different. Um, Most of the time I talk pretty well, but if you were to look at an MRI of my brain, about 25% of it is dead. It has there's no activity on the MRI. It's just a black space. And most doctors kind of freak out at that because they're like, how do you have partially a dead brain? Well, the cerebral palsy kind of gives that, is what happens. Um, balance and coordination both have been my weaknesses in life. I I quite literally will stumble or trip over things, and or I just lose my balance just by standing. It could be anything of that nature. For me, it was the cerebral palsy being the idea of the brain trying to connect to the feet, telling them what to do, or telling my muscles, hey, you need to like tighten up and do this. And then my muscles trying to communicate to my brain, like, this is what we're doing. And there's like the crosswire that's supposed to connect is like, it's like a little bit frayed like this. So it's like, it takes a bit. It has to hop to get to me, is how I'd explain it. And for me, that does deal with a lot of issues that I've learned to kind of overcome. And since then, this was actually, I was in not undergrad, grad school when I made this sticker because I wanted to do something that was like, I've accomplished this so far, but other people have their own challenges with cerebral palsy. I want them to have something to be like, yeah, this is, I'm a warrior for doing these type of things. I'm able to do what I need to do with someone with a disability such as cerebral palsy. And so I created that sticker. And I actually went through and just kind of found the ribbon that, crosses like that. And I was like, all right, that's what I need to draw it as. But I want to do something that symbolizes cerebral palsy. Because like breast cancer, you have the pink ribbon. And that's what that one is. Cerebral palsy is actually in the month of March, which is when I'm born. But the month of March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, which is in the color of green. And so I was like, okay, it will be green, but to create something else, what does cerebral palsy really come back to? And it usually comes back to the brain, because your brain is either not connecting to the rest of your body, is kind of connecting but is skipping over points, or the functioning between the brain and like this part of your body is not crossing to where like you are wheelchair bound. So you make something so I focused on making a brain in the center of it, because it is one of those things like, if you look at other disabilities, there are various forms of it. Some people you don't expect to have cerebral palsy, and some people you're like, yeah, that's who they are. But for me, I wanted to do something that could be used by anybody. And so we're going to go over here, and this is my Etsy shop. It's called Handmade Hypotheses. Handmade Hypothesis was taken, so I cannot use that. But this is my shop. But if you go over here to Hypothesis, which is a play on stickers and hypothesis, right here is the cerebral palsy awareness sticker. So this is kind of what you would get. It's $3.50. You would basically, there is an upgrade version that do holographic, but this is the cerebral palsy sticker. You basically feature, this is what would be waterproof. It'd be smudge proof because, can't smudge it. It will be shipped in an envelope, and I usually try to add extra stickers on top of it if I'm selling stickers. And that would go for anything on my shop. It would be, if you were to pick any like sticker pack, you would get other stickers on top of it. Some that I've made and some that I've just kind of gathered through the years, given through other businesses. And I just kind of use them as little freebies. So that's kind of the way if you were to get this. And this is kind of what I would put is the month of March is Cerebral Palsy month. As someone who has cerebral palsy and my birthday is in this month, I wanted to create a cerebral palsy awareness sticker. The sticker is about 3 inches in height. It is printed on matte waterproof sticker paper. The sticker is also thin, so if you were to put it like on a bottle, it's not going to just like jut out awkwardly. Excuse me. It's not going to jut awkwardly. And then, of course, you have the normal and holographic version. So this is kind of what my shop would be. And then that is the sticker on here. And that's just kind of showing off where you can find it on my Etsy shop. And that is the end of this little feature shop thing with the Cerebral Palsy sticker. And you're probably going to see more of these go on. I know I've made one about my K-pop bookmarks that I've made. But I haven't done too many more, and I do want to feature more of these products, so you kind of get more of the crafting side, since I do talk about the gaming, and I also talk about my author stuff and reading and bookish content. Might as well show off the crafting stuff too. So if you guys liked this kind of video, please feel free to leave a like down below. Give a comment if you find this very interesting. Perhaps you want to see more things on the shop. If you're interested in any way, of course, my Etsy will be linked down below. I will link directly to this sticker. And then you can go from there if you want to look at anything else. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!